Hello, this is Captain Bob18 and welcome to my video review of Elite Beat Agents. Elite Beat Agents is a game that no one really knows about. It's a DS game, music genre game, which is probably one of its first of its time. There's not really much to say about it except that it's a really great game, and you'll have to see for yourself as I show you through the video about the 4 different categories which I've reviewed this game on my website. If you've been to my website, you know that there's 4 different things I'm going to go over. There's going to be story, gameplay, design, and then funability, which is my own little made-up category. We're going to start off with the story. Elite Beat Agents is basically, there's 4 different modes to it. There's Breezin', which is an easy mode, and Cruisin', which is a more medium mode. When you start out, that's basically all you have. And once you do better during the game, you will unlock the 2 other modes, which I'll show you later. When you open up the story mode game, you'll come up to this map, which is a 3-dimensional map. It's pretty cool looking. All the missions are there. You basically just click on it to start a mission. The story of Elite Beat Agents is not that very detailed, but it's so simple that it works together. You're basically a group of agents known as the Elite Beat Agents who go to where crises happen, like where people are in danger, and you dance and sing away the trouble, which is a little different from what we've seen from the story, but it's really quite simple, fun to go through. The music, there's 19 tracks, there's 3 bonus tracks and 16 regular tracks. You start off with the easier songs and progress to the harder songs once you beat a couple of the first couple of missions. It's actually a really well progression of your skill layout. The songs themselves, I mean, they're actually quite a variety. We have from rock to punk to soul to, I don't know what genre they are, but all the songs are great mixtape. We're going to start off with the gameplay, and I'm going to do an easy mission. This makes no difference if you'll remember Sum 41. It opens up in a comic book-like story. Basically, the beginning, it tells you what you're going in to do, what your mission is, who you're saving, and why you're saving him. I'm not going to skip through it, so I'm just going to explain while this is going on what the gameplay is about. There's 3 different kinds of gameplay. There's a tap, where you tap the little thing, the little beats that come up on the screen. There's a roll thing in which you have to roll a little ball across a line in a Pac-Man-like succession. And then you have a spin move, which happens in the easier levels, it happens right at the end of a mission, and then in the harder missions, they happen more frequently. And they're probably the hardest part of the gameplay, and probably the least fun part of the gameplay. It's hard, and you'll find yourself that you'll finish the song, and you're basically about to win, and then you get to the spin marker, and you lose. Ooh. Yeah, the comic book art style is quite funny, and the animations that go on through the game. There's your boss. Go! Okay. As we start up, you're going to see on the top screen a bar, and you can see it, yeah, there it is right now. It's called the beat bar. And when you're in the yellow section, you're doing great, you're hitting every note. But when you're in the red section, you start to mess up. You're in the red section, you get to the end, you'll fail songs. Turn the volume up for you. See, those are those taps I showed you. And then if you do good, if you're in the yellow section, good things will happen on the top screen in your mission. And then you continue on. There's that Pac-Man roll thing. You have to hit every little dot in that little succession. I don't know if you can see every dot, but on the screen. In the background while you're playing, you'll see the agents in 3-dimensional form dancing to the song. And they have their own little dance moves for every mission. It's kind of funny. I've looked but it keeps you off task from what you're trying to do, hit the notes. And it gets pretty difficult in those last final missions. And also, if you can't see it, in the earlier missions, you'll see a little hand that floats to each little dot you're supposed to go to next. It'll help you, for the beginners, it'll help you know where you're supposed to go if you're too stupid. Alright, so that's basically the gameplay, and there's two different outcomes. If you finish a mission well, you'll get a good and you'll get a good grade and a score, and you'll pass on to the next mission. But if you fail, you'll have to restart that mission all over again, and it takes quite a while to get through all the missions and every single level of the play. But it's pretty funny. Also, when you finish a song, you have the option to... Here, let me turn the sound down. You have the option to save your replay. What it does is it saves the whole thing you just did as a replay, and I'll show you that later in the options. As for multiplayer, we have, you know, you have your, you know, regular versus other people who have the game, versus your ghost replays, and co-op, in which you can play against, with your friends in a co-op fashion. You trade off between the beats. The reason I didn't really like this is because, the gameplay's there, it's EBA, I really like the gameplay and the story and the progression of that, but what I don't like is the fact that you have to, what happens is, when your opponent hits the right notes, their star meter, which replaces the beat meter, goes up, and when it hits full potential, it sends a little attack towards you, and your little beats become small and they're harder to tap. Not that this is bad, it's actually really good. I wish it was explored more into the story mode, but it's really distracting to, you're really good at a song, but when you get hit with that with that star hit, it really, screws you up, and you're like, oh man, I know I could have won that, I knew every song. So it's about knowing how to hit the beats at the smaller angle. And right here is a training mode. The training mode is pretty much when you first start out the game. It teaches you what the tap mark is, what the roll mark is, what the spin mark is, and that's basically it. It's kind of a useless mode. I wish they had a practice mode added to that training, but you know what? It's room for a sequel. Also, with the multiplayer, I wish they had a Wi-Fi. That would have been awesome. Create your own agent. Mine would have been tight. In the options mode, you have the option of looking at your high scores, setting up control stuff, and looking at rank. Those are all nice. You look at your gallery of all the times you've won. But the real big thing about this is the replay save data. What happens is, like I told you before, when you think you've done really well in a song and you save your replay, it all comes out here into each mission, and you can and you can look back at what you did right and what you did wrong, and you can learn from that and practice against those songs again to get a higher score. Also, you can send these replay data to other people who don't have the game, or who have the game and want to see, oh man, so this is what this really hard song looks like. And it's really cool to just, trade your replays and say, haha, I'm better than you, to your friends. That pretty much wraps up EBA. I really hope you enjoyed this review. I really, honestly wish you would get this game. It's gotten really high score, but people don't really buy it. I don't know why. It's an amazing game. Go out and get it right now, and I'll see you next time.